Are you tired of juggling multiple software tools to manage your agency? Say hello to Deltek Workbook, the ultimate solution for marketing and communication agencies. With Workbook, you can streamline your projects, resources, and finances all in one place. Imagine real-time dashboards and reports giving you full visibility into your projects, people, and financials. Plan your team's capacity weeks in advance to avoid bottlenecks while staying on budget to maximize project margins. Plus, Workbook works perfectly for both agencies and in-house marketing teams looking to boost efficiency and profitability. And here's the best part. At PCI, we're a certified Deltek partner and reseller offering expert implementation, integrations, and ongoing support to ensure your success. Want to see how Deltek Workbook can transform your operations? For a free consultation, visit pci.us/podcast today. That's pci.us/podcast. So if you're a marketer, let me ask, how confident are you that your content actually connects in every market? If you're guessing, it might be time to check out Phrase. Phrase is the industry-leading AI localization platform that helps you deliver content in multiple languages without losing your tone, your message, or your mind. It automates the manual work, slashes review time, and gives you real data on what's working where. Brands like Uber and Zendesk trust Phrase to scale their content across the globe and get it right every time. If you're serious about reaching more people and driving better results internationally, head over to phrase.com/MPN and take a look. That's phrase.com/MPN.
Coming up on this episode of the Entrepreneurial You,
I want to ask the right questions, identify what I call the burning issue, and then show you I can solve it. That's how I sell. Profit is not cash. Profit only tells you if you have the right model. If I sell this much and spend this much, I should make this much money. Every company has a financial gap, right? A financial gap is the difference between money coming in and money coming out.
Hey, it's John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and it's the Entrepreneurial You, the show for dedicated and passionate Caribbean entrepreneurs seeking daily inspiration, brought to you by author, speaker, and award-winning entrepreneur Heneka Watkis-Porter. You must be prepared to ignite.
All right. It is another episode of the Entrepreneurial You podcast, and I am your host, Heneka Watkis-Porter. And we have an amazing episode lined up for you. And you know, on this podcast is where we turn business challenges into cash flow opportunities and just all the things we do here so that you can go to your next level. Now, today's guest is a legend in the world of business finance, Mike Milan, aka Cashflow Mike. He's our guest today, and with 14 companies under his belt and a track record of helping thousands of business owners and advisors find hidden cash, Mike is the creator of the Clear Path to Cash system and co-host of the Mike and Blaine podcast. So, if you want to finally understand your numbers and make your money work for you, this episode is your playbook. Welcome, Mike. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, live from San Antonio, Texas, is Cashflow Mike. So are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. Think about what we just did, what we just went through. We went through schedule changes. We went through cooking chicken, mowing yards. I mean, we've been doing everything trying to get here, to be together, to help others.
And here we are. I mean, trust me, it's all worth the wait, right? Okay. All right. So just to let our peak performers that are listening know what it is that we're talking about today. I mean, you just get a nice little intro into that, right, guys? So we're talking today about cash flow unlocked, the real world path to business financial freedom. And this is against the backdrop that most entrepreneurs dread the numbers. And I ain't gonna lie, I am most entrepreneurs, right? But Mike's mission is to make financial strategy approachable, actionable, and dare I say, fun. Today, we'll break down a little how to spot hidden cash, boost profitability. Anybody says profitability? I do here. And use simple frameworks to make better decisions, no matter your business size or stage. Now, before we get into the meat of the matter, before we get in the thick of things, let's have Mike break the ice a little bit. Like, the ice is already broken, but for what it's worth, you know, I have a system and I'm sticking to my system. So the icebreaker question is, Mike, you have trained a lot of entrepreneurs. You've built 14 business. What's the weirdest hidden cash, quote unquote, hidden cash story you've ever uncovered?
Oh, that's a good one. You know what? That's probably the only question I've never been asked is what's the
Ah!
weirdest, right? What's the weirdest? The thing about hidden cash is it's always like right there in front of you. When you lose your keys, they're always in the last place you look.
Yep, yep, yep,
So,
yep.
so it's the same thing with cash. It's always in the last place that you look. But all right, so I was working with a company in Wasilla, Alaska, right? I mean, that's way up there. I mean, almost close to Russia, as far north as you can get, roughly. And I was working with a tire dealership. And I'm not big on tires. It doesn't do anything for me, right? I mean, but every time I work with a business owner, they want to take you on a tour. Hey, let me show you my place, right? And you've been to tire dealers before where you got the waiting area where you get the old coffee and you pay your bill, and they got their bays where they do all the tire changing. Then they got maybe a little warehouse behind it with all the tires. Well, I don't know what it is about business owners, but every time they open their warehouse, it's like, oh, this golden glow comes out of it, and people think, their inventory is the best thing that they've ever had. And I don't know if you've ever heard of like a Christmas tradition called Elf on the Shelf. Have you ever heard of that?
Not in my 40, almost 50 years of life, no.
All right, so there's a game that parents play, in Texas anyway,
Mm-hmm.
called Elf on the Shelf. It's this little stuffed elf, and at night when the child goes to bed, it moves around the house and creates havoc. So the child wakes up the next day to some mischief that this elf has caused. Well, you don't want the elf in your house because it's creating all this mischief. I look at inventory the same way. It's wealth on the shelf, right? It's money sitting on the shelf that maybe you don't need as much as you think you do, right? So I saw all these tires, and the ones that drew my attention were the ones I couldn't get my arms around. It was longer than I could reach. They were taller than me, right? And I'm 6 foot tall. I'm like, oh my God, how much do those cost? He says, I pay $3,500 a piece, right? So $3,500 a piece, and I sell them for $7,000 each. And I'm like going, wow. I said, how many of those do you sell a month? He says, I don't know, 2 or 3, right? And he puts them on these big snow movers, right? So that's not a lot of money. You're talking, he gets, $14,000, sells two. But I'm looking at how many he has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
counting them
I see where
1,
this is
2,
going.
3. Yeah, you know exactly where I'm going. 5. Then I count 15, 16 of these tires. Well, 16 times 3,500 is like $50,000 that he paid to have these tires in here, and he only sells 2 a month, right? So that's part of it right there. Just because you can buy that much doesn't mean you should. You should try to come up with the number that matches your sales volume. So if you only need 2 or 3 a month, then maybe have 4, right? So you don't run out. But don't have 15 or 16, right? That's kind of what we're going to. And so I teach people a calculation so they make sure they have the exact right amount of everything, because you don't want to run out and you don't want to have too much. So this is what I try to help people do, is put the right amount of product on the shelf, so that they can keep money in their pocket longer.
Yeah, so just about managing your inventory, because that's where a lot of the money is. I mean, when I did procurement, I did procurement a long time ago in my past life, working in corporates. And I remember just the very concept of, tying up your money in inventory. My boss at the time would say that a lot. No, we're not going to tie money up in inventory. And I later applied that to my life. And I think even my husband had that, same principle. And how I applied that to my life, Mike, was I would rather invest my money, save my money, than be that regular girl who's always shopping for shoes or shopping for dresses, because I believe that, you know what, when the opportunity comes for, or the need arises for me to get a dress, a nice dress, whatever it is, I should have money I can go pull from, as opposed to buying all these dresses, putting them down. I may never wear them. And then, when I need money for other things, or even a new dress that I need to do for something different, I can't buy that dress, right? So
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yeah. Dresses are tires, or tires are dresses.
Yeah, well, yeah, and here's why it was weird, right? Is that in order for him to have more cash, all he had to do was nothing. So, and this is what I mean, is that if you just let the inventory level run down, right? Because every time that we sell stuff, we think, oh, I sold 5, I need to buy 5 and put it back on the shelf. I told him do nothing until it got down to 4. So he put $35,000 in his bank account in a matter of 3 months by doing nothing. That's one of the things that I think makes it weird.
Yeah. We're saying it now, and it sounds very simple, but I know one of the hardest conversations to have, basically, I think because of the culture that we've been raised in, particularly in maybe not so much in the US, but more in the Caribbean and stuff, Jamaica.
Mhm.
We don't want to talk about money. Money is almost a dirty word. So how do you make the conversation palatable, right, for persons to even want to have that conversation around money? Because first you must be willing to have that conversation so that you can change something.
Yeah. So, okay. So I look at myself as an advisor. Maybe you do as well. I ask other accountants, bankers, advisors, what business do you think you're really in? Right. And, accountants will say, well, I'm in the, reporting business. I make sure everybody has the right reports filled out and the bookkeeping's done, those type of things. Bankers say, I help people get cash when they need it. And I want people to think about it differently. I want you to think of yourself as in the dream fulfillment business, right? Because everybody you work with has a dream. They didn't start a business just so they'd have a job. They started a business because there's something else they wanted to do. Retire on another island, right? Take a trip around the world, pay for kids' college. I don't know. Everybody has that dream. So it becomes easier to talk about money. Money is just a tool. Nobody wants just a big
Absolutely.
pile of money. It's a tool to do something else. So what I started talking about was, hey, what do you want to do next? When you're done with this, or, what are you thinking of? What do you want to do next? Because my job is to help you do that. And when I do that, it's easier to talk about money.
Yeah, sounds really good. Sounds really good. Absolutely. Because as you said, money is a tool to, buy you freedom, buy you whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So that's when you go into a business, I'm picturing you entering into a business. And first of all, do you only focus on product-based businesses, or do you also help service-based businesses as well?
Now, because of my background, I'm not only a business owner, but I train a lot of bankers. I have to be
Mm-hmm.
kind of, we'll say, agnostic, which means I'll work with any businesses that are out there. It doesn't matter because
Mm-hmm.
the techniques of financial cash management are the same. They might vary a little bit between service and inventory, but mostly they're the same.
Mm-hmm.
But what I try to approach it as is the person. It isn't necessarily the business because I have to get you to be committed to taking action, right? Because how many times has an advisor told you exactly what to do and you didn't do it?
Too
Right?
many times to count, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my new book is for advisors, and it's called "Don't Tell Me What to Do." So,
Mm-hmm.
and really, what that is, it's helping you understand what your burning issue is. So I don't look for the problems I see anymore, right? You
Mm-hmm.
probably are experienced enough. If somebody gives you a set of financial statements, you can find all these problems, right? You just see it instantly because that's your experience and that's what you've been doing. I stopped doing that because what I see is not what they feel. If I want to talk about inventory and they want to talk about not making payroll, I've got to make the connection to their payroll, not to the problem I'm seeing in the financial statements. So
Mm-hmm.
I solve the problems that you feel, not the ones that I see, and I think that's made it a better change in the mindset of everybody talking and working together.
All right. So a very frustrated entrepreneurs listening, business owners listening in right now, and they're listening to the conversation because cash flow Mike is here to solve their problem.
Yeah.
But they're sitting down and thinking, oh my gosh, there's no help. There's no way that I can be helped where my cash flow is concerned. Take us through, or take that very frustrated business owner through the first thing that you do to assess where they are and help to solve their problem.
Yeah. You want to role play one? That might
Oh,
be
oh,
fun. I
oh,
mean, you
oh,
ever do that?
let's
You
do
ever
that.
just role
Let's do
play?
that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do
All
that.
right, so you be the customer, you be the client, the
Yes,
business owner
yes.
that's frustrated. I'll just be me, right?
Yeah.
So I said, and let's pretend we're already friends. We already got through, hey, how's the weather and those type of things.
Yeah,
But
right, right,
hey,
right.
and I'll let you set the stage. Are we already working together or not? Is this a sales
So
call for
we
me or?
are, I'm at my wit's end. I just heard of Cashflow Mike, and I'm coming into you because you have to fix my problem. There's no money. I can't pay my bills. I don't seem to have enough clients
All right.
coming in. Yeah, you gotta fix it.
Okay. So
Fix
hey,
it,
listen,
Mike.
you know what? I'm glad you came. So when you thought about just meeting with me today, how did you think I could help?
To be honest with you, I came in blindly, but I just know based on what I've heard and the podcast that I've listened that you help to fix people's problem. And I know I have done everything that I possibly can. So you need to show me because I believe that I've looked everywhere and there's no way that I can find any cash anywhere. I mean, you've got to help me because clearly I'm not seeing it.
All right, so tell me just a little bit more because I think I know where we're going with this conversation. So tell me just a little bit more about, you know, when you say you've looked everywhere and you can't find cash, what are some things you've done?
So I've tried to cut my bills, my monthly expenses. I've tried cutting those. I have tried to operate on a shoestring budget. I've
Hmm.
tried to not even employ people when I know I need people, but I have put off employing people because my thought is, where am I going to get the money to pay these people?
Yeah. No, totally agree. I ran a hotel staffing company. At one point in time, I had like 100 people working, and I was waiting for money to come in from like Marriott to pay me. And I'm sitting there struggling, going, "Oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough money, to make payroll." So I've been there. I get it. It sounds like, and I can't tell exactly where the cash might be leaking, right? But I got this technique I call mining your business for hidden cash. It's like, digging beneath the surface and see where it's leaking out. You got time? Maybe we can kind of
Oh, I
just
have lots of time
right.
because what else am I going to do without money?
All right. Okay, so let me break the role play just a second, right? Now, what I teach other advisors to do is ask that set. It's a very specific set of questions. I use two techniques with you. One was clear the noise, and clear the noise was the question I asked where I said, "Hey, what brought us together?" Because everybody that comes to a meeting with you, there's something already on their mind. There's something they're already thinking about this meeting. So I let people get that on the table up front. If not, they're going to be thinking about that while you're talking to them about your package. Remember, we're not working together yet, so I'm trying to sell you. Did it feel like I was trying to sell you something?
You actually tried. You sounded as though you wanted to really know more about me and where I'm at.
Yeah. Hey, what's going
Yeah.
on? What brought us together? When I couldn't tell, I thought it was a cash flow issue, but I really couldn't tell. I moved to the next question technique I call the explorer. And in the
Hmm.
explorer, I say things like, "Hey, tell me more about this," or "Can you say that differently?"
Hmm.
And really, what I'm trying to do is get you to say it out loud because as an advisor, if I tell you what I think the problem is, you can argue, "No, that's not my problem."
Hmm.
But if you say it and then I repeat it back to you, "Hey, it sounds like, there's some cash flow things here." There's no one left to argue with. You've already said it.
Absolutely. Got it.
So then what I do is I move you to my world. I got this technique I call mining your business for hidden cash, and it helps me identify where it's leaking out. Do you got
And I
time?
and
Let's
my
go
and my
through it.
and I perked up my ears. I literally perked up for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I said, "You got time to do it," right? Again, we're still in the sales call. We're not even client, advisor yet. I'm just in the sales call. But the thing is that I want to ask the right questions, identify what I call the burning issue, and then show you I can solve it. That's how I sell because at the end, my closing statement is, let's just say I found $20,000 in your business. "Hey, listen, I found $20,000 in your business and my fee is, I don't know, $200 or whatever what the advisor charges. I don't know what people charge, but uh, let's just say it's $200. Would you pay $200 for my help to go get 20,000?"
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what you're going to hear. Yeah.
yeah, especially when I showed you where it was, what I would do, I would tell you, "Hey, here's what I would do to fix it. And then would you want my help?" And that's how I get started with the relationship is just ask people if they want my help after I show them what I'm capable of,
Hmm.
right? I didn't talk about my packages. I didn't talk about my price. I didn't talk about, engagement letters and all this legal stuff. I'm like going, You came to me because you had a problem. I wanted to show you I could solve the problem.
Yeah. And it worked. I mean, even though it's a role play, right? But it actually works because just listening to you ask the right questions, right? Somebody comes in, they're frustrated, you asking the right question. It never seemed like you were selling, as you rightfully say. You never seemed like you were selling. You were just curious about me and what's going on, and whatever the problem is, and you want to confirm that that's the
Yeah.
problem is. Yeah, what the problem is. I like it.
Yeah, and Henrik, I can tell you that it's the same methodology I use when we're working together. So
Mm-hmm.
because I want the sales call to feel the same as our when we are working together. I don't want it to be a difference. Authenticity builds trust and builds credibility. If
Yeah,
you see me different, like on, oh, that was Mike hyped up sales guy, and then he's different when he's my advisor and we're doing the work and I'm paying him. No, I'm the same guy in both situations asking the same questions. So you get practice on what it's going to be like to work with me.
yeah, I like it. I like that. So the next question I have for you is, what in your mind is the biggest misconception business owners have about cash flow?
It happens every day, right? They
Mm-hmm.
think that because they make money on paper that they're rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And profit is not cash. Profit only tells you if you have the right model. If I
Mm-hmm.
sell this much and spend this much, I should make this much money. But it doesn't mean that there's that much money in your bank account. And I see people all the time that when sales start to come in, they start to take more and more out of the company because they've never had that much money before, but they don't realize that they still have to go back and rebuy inventory. They have to make
Mm-hmm.
payroll. They have to pay their rent. They have to buy utilities and all the
Mm-hmm.
other things. So
Yep.
they take more out of the business than they should. Right. So
Yeah.
the first thing is building that, that habit of how much money should we leave in the company before we take money out for ourselves.
Yeah. So that misconception is believing that profit is cash.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that there's two different accounting methods for GAAP, which is cash, the cash method, or the accrual method,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now,
Yeah.
most
Talk a
people
little bit
use
about that. Yes. Talk a little bit
yeah,
about that.
most people use the accrual method if they give out invoices and things like that because I'm recording the sale, but I don't get paid for 30 days or 60 days later. I stopped calling it a cruel, like ACCURAL, and I call it just a cruel method. It's cruel. It's mean. It makes you think you're making money and you're not.
Very cruel indeed, right? I like it. You are so funny. Now, if an entrepreneur can build one good financial habit, what habit should they start today to shift things in their financial situation?
Yeah, I think what you got to do first is start with the end in mind. Why I'm in this business and what am I
Mm,
trying to do next, right? That's the first habit. Because what I teach in my method called Start with End in Mind is how to quantify your next step. I don't care if it's paying off debt or retiring or whatever you're going to do. But because of that, it becomes my focus every month. And I boil it down to one number. Let's call it $2,000 a month. I need $2,000 a month to fund my future. So when you
mm-hmm,
and I are working together, I'm going to say, hey, we get our 2,000 last month. We get our two, we get our two, we get our two. And now I've boiled down everything I do from running my restaurant to doing a dry cleaning to whatever. My job every day is to contribute towards my $2,000 I want to give to me at the end of the month. Not my salary. I'm talking about extra, right?
mm-hmm,
Extra
mm-hmm.
money to fund something else. You want to transfer value and wealth from your company to you. And that's
Ah, wow. That is mega. That is mega because a lot of persons in a business, running a business, the business is wealthy, but they are not. They
yeah.
are not, right?
Yeah.
And it's like there's no system in place for paying themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're in business because you
Yeah,
have
I
to
want to have lovely
yourself.
vacations. I want to go on cruises. I want to do this. I want to do that. Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to
I,
have enough money to invest. I want all of these things.
I talked to a guy from London today, right? In an
Mm-hmm.
earlier call, and he said he's in property management, so he was buying properties, but he overextended because now he had these debt payments, and he had, repair and maintenance and this type of stuff that had come up because he bought properties. And he was down to $10 or pounds. He called it pounds, right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
10
yeah,
pounds,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He's down to 10 pounds is all he had, but he still had to make payroll. He was like sweats. He couldn't sleep at night, those type of things, because he hadn't planned for all of that. And on paper, it looked like he had done everything right because
Mm-hmm.
all of the costs that he had didn't show up on the income statement. They showed up on the balance sheet, right? So you got to realize that there's cost associated with both financial statements, and the income statement is just about your business model. Do I make money doing this? The balance sheet is a history of your whole company on one page: what you own, what you bought, what you have, who you owe, who owns you. I mean, all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
is on one piece of paper, and that's called the balance sheet. So it was interesting for him to say that because all of his employees thought he was rich. He says, Mike, I had 10 pounds, right? And all these people, relying on me for their family's income.
Wow, that is a slap in the face and a wake up to reality.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
absolutely. Yeah. We are going to take a break to go into our community connection segment. And when we come back, Mike, it's time for you to wrap on the what we promised to our listeners. Cash flow unlocked, the real world path to business financial freedom. So think about that, and we're going to bring that home to a close when we come back from the community connection segment. And thank you for joining us in this segment. It is, of course, where we take your feedback on what's happening, what you're thinking about our podcast, what it is that you want to see change, what, just feedback on our guests and how the show is going overall. But it's also an opportunity for me to share with you, which I have been doing over the last couple of weeks on this show, just to share with you some of the interesting and amazing opportunities that we have to connect with you in person. And LeaderCast Kingston is back with us after a little hiatus, following the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're so thrilled that we are going to be at the summit in Kingston on October 7th. So you don't want to miss LeaderCast Kingston happening again. If you've ever been to any of my events, you know that they are top tier, right? So go on to spurropen.com. That's SPURR open.com/leadercast, where you can purchase your early bird tickets, book your spot because you don't want to wait until the last minute. Okay. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And following that, in November, we are having an amazing time of our life on the Lead Her Ship cruise. Yeah, setting sail from the Bahamas straight to setting sail rather from Fort Lauderdale into the Bahamas, right? So you don't want to miss that. Just imagine workshops going on for personal development. There's a surf simulator, cupcake shop breaks, there fine dining, all of these things. So if you want to join, if I'm piquing your curiosity and you want to join, then by all means, send me an email at henekawatkisporter.com or via WhatsApp at 876-849-2571. And that's our community connection segment. So now I'm happy to go back to Cashflow Mike as he is going to take us home. Cashflow Unlocked, the real world path to business financial freedom. Take it away, Mike.
Hey, I got to tell you, I mean, if there's one thing I can teach you today that you can walk away with is to understand that every company has a financial gap. And here's what I mean by that, right? A financial gap is the difference between money coming in and money coming out. And I'm talking about timing, how long it takes money to come into your business while you're still paying your bills. The time difference in days is called the financial gap. And your working capital, or what I call money you have, is designed to cover that amount of time. So if it's not enough to cover that, meaning buying your inventory, paying your payroll, those type of things, your business is going to feel clunky. Like I never have enough money to do what I want to do next. So learn and optimize the financial gap. Have less inventory, collect a little faster if you can, pay a little slower if you can without getting into trouble. The smaller the gap, the less money it takes to run your business. And what I help people do is do that. And if I can I make an offer?
Oh, absolutely. Go right ahead.
If you go to cashflowmike.com, say you're out there and you're like, going, Mike, I'm new to this, or maybe I don't know what I'm doing with financial statements and people are talking about it and I don't know what I'm looking at. I've got this system called the Home Run Financial System. and it touches all the bases, a little bit from the income statement, a little bit from the balance sheet, and a little bit from the cash flow statement. Only 6 calculations that I call the 7-minute conversation. It's a free course. Just go get it. All you got to do is go to my website, cashflowmike.com. Get the free course. You get a video. It's about an hour-long video of me teaching you all these calculations and what they mean and how to put them to work. You also get a spreadsheet to do the calculations for you. And you also get a digital copy of the book, The 7-Minute Conversation. So all that stuff's for free. It gives you an introduction. I'm on a mission to eliminate cash flow as the reason that businesses fail. And this is one of the ways I'm trying to do it, is by helping you get started.
Oh, absolutely. And how about the trial membership for the Clear Path to Cash?
Yeah, right now we got a trial membership going on right now. So what I want you to do is go into the Clear Path to Cash. If you want to try it out, and inside the Clear Path to Cash, I got an app. I got over 100 hours of video courses, just things. The reason why there's 100 hours is because we all fight different battles at different times, and I try to help you where you're at. And then live coaching, 15 hours of coaching. So get a trial membership. Use the code, and I think the code I gave you was UAC fee or 25 fee.
Okay, no, we didn't get the code yet, so we can share the code now.
Okay, so go in there right now. It's good through, well, I'm going to make it open. And if you use it, I'll make sure it works. It's a free month of any membership you choose. I don't care if it's the premium one. I don't care if it's the lowest cost one. It doesn't matter. Free month. Just try it out. But it's UAC 25 or 25 fee. I know that sounds weird, but somebody else gave me the code to use, and I just kept using it. So UAC 25 fee. Any membership, put it in there, and you get a month of any membership free.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Cashflow Mike Milan. What a time we've had. We've had role plays. We've had just you sharing your knowledge and your insights and experiences going into, those one-on-one sessions with your clients and what you're seeing, your observations. And that really is enough to help us on our merry way as we are trying, well, not trying, I don't like the word trying at all, as we're working towards, having financial freedom, both for ourselves individually and our businesses. And what better way to start? We're better to start than with our cash flow, because with that, we can, make the change that we need to make for that freedom that we desire. So thank you so much, Mike. It has been my absolute pleasure to host you.
I really enjoyed it, and now you got me hopped up on the cruise and Leaderfest. Or is it Leaderfest?
Leadercast.
Yes. Yeah. So hey,
yes, come on, take a trip down Kingston, Jamaica, or you can just hop over to Fort Lauderdale and join us on the cruise, because we are indeed taking more persons on it. So we'd love to have you.
There you go. All right, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and have a great night.
Awesome sauce. And now, guys, it's time for Trending Now. So here's a stat for you. According to Intuit, 60% of small businesses that fail cite cash flow as the number one reason. But companies that track their cash weekly are 2.5 times more likely to survive downturns. Of course, Mike's approach is the difference maker. Again, I want to express my gratitude to Mike Milan, Cashflow Mike, for making money talk less scary and a lot more practical. And so I encourage you, our peak performers, to go grab a copy of Mike's book and check out Clear Path to Cash and tune in to the Mike and Blaine podcast. We encourage you to do that. It's endorsed by the Entrepreneurial You. And if this episode got your wheels turning, please subscribe if you have not yet done so. Leave a rate and review in your favorite podcast app, and share with a fellow entrepreneur. Sharing is caring. Remember, cash isn't just king or queen, it's your business lifeblood. Affirm with me, please. I'm confident, clear, and in control of my business finances. A special thanks to the Jamaica Stock Exchange and, of course, Heneka Watkis-Porter.com, sponsors of this podcast. Do take care.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Robbie Samuels hosts the On the Schmooze podcast. Robbie, tell listeners what to expect from the show.
Since 2015, I've interviewed entrepreneurs who overcame challenges to achieve success in their field or industry. Tune in to On the Schmooze to listen as I ask deep questions to elicit untold stories about leadership and networking.
And where can people subscribe?
Find the show at ontheschmooze.com or on marketingpodcast.net, or just search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard them. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.